how are they when they meet you
Okay.
versus how are they when they leave you?
So for the women that I help, I'll say very high 95, 98% of them have some type of low self esteem, low confidence. They have issues with boundaries, setting and enforcing them. They have issues with being a people pleaser. They are very analytical and they stay here versus taking the action, right? So that's how they begin. It's a lot of uncertainty, anxiety. They maybe even have the feeling that the relationship is about to end and they have no idea where to start to begin to heal or to change things around. So, this is where I come in. I help them with their self esteem, the confidence, like all of the things that I just listed. I help them with all of that stuff. It doesn't happen all in one session. It doesn't happen all in one night. It is over a period of time. So the period of time, the minimum time that I work with somebody is 90 days. It's,
Okay.
3 months. The optimal time to work with somebody is the up to a year. Up to a year for you to really unpack a lot of that stuff. So you can feel like, okay, I've been practicing, i.e., taking action on creating and establishing boundaries and enforcing them. I
Mm.
have been practicing speaking up and ask for what I want in a way that is loving, but also this is what I need in order to feel happy, loved, appreciated here. This is what I need. Because a lot of times we put our children, we put our spouse in front of us, and a lot of times we're not, excuse me, we're not even on our own list any longer. So I help them to make sure that they are still on their list, a priority if they can, but on their list at the very least. So we go
Wow.
through a whole slew of actions. Me listening to what they're saying, unpacking some of the things. We even go back. And now I'm not a therapist or anything, but sometimes we go back to figure out why they are doing certain things. Sometimes they've worked with a therapist and the therapist has not been able to help them pinpoint where this thing is coming from. Most times I can, but again, I am not a licensed therapist at all. But because I have read so much, experienced so much, I can, one of my powers, if you will, one of my gifts is being able to hear what you're not saying, right? I can hear what you are not saying, and then I can pinpoint. Like I was in short story, but I was talking to one of my clients, and she was telling me a story about how the mom and dad, the mom would be there, her mother, the stepdad would be there, and she felt like um, the stepdad would always like say different stuff to her, but she would, and during the course of the conversation, she never told me how her mother stood up for her or interjected or anything like that. And so after she finished talking, I said, has your mom always, and I know we shouldn't use always, right? But has your mom always not protected you? And she was like,
Oh.
um, nobody's ever asked me that. And like, was starting to get very emotional. So I can hear what you're not
Wow.
saying. And she was able to, um, thank me actually afterwards for pointing that out because she hadn't really thought about it in that way, but she's told that story several times. So I can hear what you're not saying. And I'm able to help you kind of work through it. Again, I'm not licensed. She does work with the therapist, so she can go and speak to that therapist and he can help her pull it out even more. But the point I'm saying is, in the beginning, you are a certain way, which is you're pretty much an empty shell for the most part when it comes to you being in a romantic relationship. You're a shell because you didn't get the right tools and strategies. You're trying to figure it out on all on your own. By the time we talk, you start to do some work. You're feeling better. You're getting stronger. You're becoming more confident. The self-esteem is rising. Like all of these things are aligning up for you. You feel better about yourself. By the time you decide to part ways with me, because you don't need my coaching weekly. You might need maintenance, but you don't need the weekly coaching anymore. By the time you leave me, you already have the blueprint. You have been actively taking the actions to create the life that you want. You feel better about yourself. And to be quite frank and honest, sometimes some of the women end up leaving their relationship because they can really see this person is not their forever person. But it
Mm.
took them coming, getting themselves together first before making that decision over here. Because even if you try to make that decision right now, the you that you are today is the you you're going to take into the next relationship, and you're going to attract the same type of person, the same type of man. So I need to get you together before you even think about walking away. Or you can walk away, but you still don't need to be dating anybody. You still got to do the work on you and figure out all of your whys. So when you get over here, it can stay connected and together instead of distance, divorce, apart, anything like that. So unhealthy to healthy.